I look for people, first of all, who listen. At the end of the day, it's not about the salesperson. It's about actually listening to the customer's requirements, making sure that you really understand the problems that they're experiencing, because we're in the business to provide solutions to the problems that they're experiencing.
Love that story you told about everyone around the desk. The FD resigned on the spot, but at the end of the day, the people who were left around that table were engaged. They were clear on what they needed to do. So implementing change, okay, what's the sort of key emphasis points in order to successfully manage change in an organization? In this instance, probably technology change. Okay.
Yeah, you've got to have a clear strategy, all right, in terms of where you are now, where you want to get to, and what's the plan for getting there. And there could be a number of phases in that journey that you have to go on. It's recognizing the impact that it has on individuals. Change is never easy. And if you don't communicate therefore very, very clearly why you're doing it, then you will hit against sort of the objections at every step of the way. So it's recognizing that communication is fundamental to the success of any change program, and not just in one way, many different ways of communicating. Don't get into the trap, well, I sent an email out, so obviously I've communicated and people understand. No.
Sure.
Make sure that you have those sort of face-to-face meetings, give people the opportunity to ask questions. People hear information in different ways, all right? They interpret, depending on their own circumstances, they interpret it in different ways. Give them the opportunity to check, to challenge and everything else. And also be clear to them. And if you're going to have the difficult conversation, explain the reason why. In my own experience, people are will accept it if they understand there's a reason for it, all right? But if you don't take the time to do that, and this is, when I talk about bringing people on that journey, I can remember having sort of in fact, when we went through that big change at Uni4, I took the whole company off the road. We were at the Celtic Manor, I remember now, and everybody was there, over 500 people at the time, and outlined exactly what was going to happen. This was a 5-year journey. The reason why we had to go on this journey, and sort of explaining, there's so much change that's happening from a technology point of view, that if you didn't make certain changes, you quickly become obsolete. All right. So going through all of the explanations there.
Sure. So on that point then, because you're obviously an excellent communicator, Anwen, you've worked in sales for a long time, okay? And, you could argue that an MD is a sales role, probably in its purest form, isn't it? So I just wanted to sort of get your thoughts on what do you look for in a salesperson?
I've been doing this for a long, long time. And I think back to when I first entered this sort of selling. It was very male-dominated profession. Let's call it a profession in that regard. And it was, all about sort of, the biggest commissions, the biggest deals, and thumping up the chest, and what are you doing, and everything else there. And I got to admit, in the beginning, you think, oh well, you're going to have to replicate that behaviour, and you've got to and you quickly realise that no, that has had its time. That approach, all right. So what do I look for? I look for people, first of all, who listen, all right, who at the end of the day, it's not about the salesperson, it's about actually listening to the customer's requirements, making sure that you really understand the problems that they're experiencing, because we're in the business to provide solutions to the problems that they're experiencing. And if you don't take the time to fully understand not just where they are now, all right, because they're experiencing now, but where are they going? What's the journey? Where are they going to? And hence, how do we then articulate how we will help them on that journey? All right. So I look for salespeople. I look for, I think being humble, in actual fact, is a great attribute. Be authentic. Be authentic is a great attribute. Be curious. All right, and ask those questions. Don't just come in and immediately think and try to sell a product. No. You listen and everything else, and what will naturally come from that, if you can clearly articulate that you're a partner that's going to be there for the long term, that you understand their problems, and you talk about solutions, you talk about business outcomes. Actually, the underpinning technology is an irrelevance. You've got to obviously have the technology to deliver what you've just been talking about, but it becomes this building a partnership with customers, and that's very much the type of salesperson that I look for. And I'm seeing some of the young talent that we've got in my own organization at the moment. And it's fantastic. If I look at especially the early talent that we've brought on board during the pandemic, they had to learn their skill sets remotely. Oh my goodness, that's a different type of sales experience. But it still comes back to the fundamental, all right? It still comes back to the fact that you have to learn how to engage via the remote medium, right? You have to build these relationships by this sort of remote medium. And I think that's, now that we're opening up again, that's actually paying dividends, because it teaches a different type of skill sets. So, empathy, I think, is a key attribute that you look for. Obviously, industry knowledge is key, but that comes with experience and it comes with everything else. So I'm looking for that sort of stay curious, ask the right questions, be engaged, all right? And so all of these things, I think, have been emphasized during the day of Teams and of this type of remote sort of environment, just taught a different type of skill set, which is now actually bringing a lot of benefits once we're engaging on a face-to-face basis as well.